Well, happy Sunday afternoon to you. Chris Hare here, the world champion crypto cowboy, bringing you an update on Suey, taking the strategies that I use in the rodeo arena that I've used to earn these world champion titles, bringing them right here to the crypto desk to make all of y'all world champion crypto traders. But we're going to talk about Virtuals Protocol today. AI tokens doing really well. ICP's made a face melting run. Near Protocol, I'm going to get a video out on that this week. It's made a face melting run, and now Virtuals is taking off as well. So we're going to get into everything. We're going to figure out what's going on, what our long-term predictions are, and we'll start off with the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. This measures market sentiment, currently at a 24. We've been all the way down to 25, 35 last week. I think we've been a little lower than that. I know we were at 20 for a time because I did some spot purchases. And this measures market sentiment. It tells us if people are scared, or if they're greedy, what exactly is going on. But what I use it for is I make small spot purchases when we go into fear. When we go down into extreme fear, I buy a little heavier. And it's worked pretty well for me. It's a nice little spot strategy. You just kind of buy it, forget about it, wait till we're in greed and sell it off. And you can see I put $60 in Ethereum and Solana both. Back when we hit about 20, currently Ethereum's up 2.28%, Solana's up 0.25%, so we're heading in the right direction for sure. Looking at a crypto altcoin season index, we have been moving out of Bitcoin season for the last 3 or 4 days, and it seems like every time we get any kind of little pump, we move off of it. I did notice on chain that whales are starting to do some spot purchases in altcoins, so that seems pretty promising. We're at 31, moved out of the orange, moved out of Bitcoin season. But what we need to see is we need to get up into these lighter and darker blues, somewhere around 51 like we hit last month. And then what we really need to see is something like in November when we went on that face melting run and it ran all the way up to 87. But now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of Virtual Protocol, starting off with the liquidation heat map. This is what market makers use to track your liquidity. They don't care where it is. They just want it, and that's how they draw the charts. Everything above price action is a short trade. Everything below price action is a long trade. And you see we've got some pretty bright pockets up here between $1.50, $1.60. I kind of feel like that's probably where we're gearing up to run today. But cumulatively, $3.8 million worth of short trades sitting up there. To the downside, 5.13. So we've got an imbalance to the downside. Question begs, what do we do from here? Market makers left a lot of liquidity up here for a long time, kept running up and down, but we'll get into the charts and kind of figure out what's going on. Start off with a 1 hour chart on Virtuals. Let me make this screen just a little bigger. I do post all of these charts in the crypto school along with some signals every now and then. We went long on a Solana and Ethereum this morning. Hopefully those pay out. We made some pretty good money at the beginning of last week too. But you'll find the link to that in my description. Come over and hang out with us, a lineup of excellent coaches. Get you started on trading, investing, whatever you want to do. Starting off with the 1 hour chart, you can see we've crossed the 50 smooth moving average. That takes 50 of these candles, puts a fluid line on the chart, works as excellent support and resistance. The yellow line is the 50 simple moving average. So the smooth moving average takes a composite of the simple and the exponential that I don't really use, puts a fluid line on the chart. That's where we get it. We've closed above it. We're working on a retest now. Couldn't get across above the 50 simple moving average, but I think we'll use this for support. Next stops will be 144 to 151. Break out of that. 173 to 189. It's going to be your next targets. If we reject from here, can't hold that 50. Your 200 that takes 200 of these candles, puts a fluid line on the chart, is sitting right around $1.32. We could come back in and retest this golden zone, 133 to 126. If for some crazy reason that we lose that, 104 to 88 cents would be your next targets. Moving out onto a 4 hour chart, gives us a little bit better idea of the macro of what's going on. You can see we're in the 4 hour golden zone as we sit. Closed above the 200 or the 50 smooth moving average, working on getting above that 50. If we can get above it, we need to head up to extensions here, 234 to 290. If we lose all of this, your next targets are 92 cents to 64 cents. I'm not as optimistic on that, but you cannot rule it out. Daily chart kind of shows us the same thing. Sitting inside a daily golden zone, you can see a pattern here. When we do this, we're consolidating. We're gearing for another run up. We didn't get any more hard rejections off of that 200 moving average, so I'm pretty bullish on this, guys. Daily extension targets 233 to 289 with a possibility to run up to 450. If we lose these 50 moving averages, which is not bullish, guys, 90 cents to 63 cents, I think, is where we go. But you can see we broke out over that, retested this 50 smooth moving average, and we're moving up off of it. I really feel like the move is up from here. As you can see on a weekly chart, I left the smart money concepts on because there was a fair value gap there. I was watching to see if we bounced, and we did. Next stops, 169 to 208. $3.20 to $4. If we can get a face melting run going here, guys, I think 629 is not out of the question. That's a really good return on virtuals for sure, especially for a small cap. But that gives you a really good idea of what's going on. Virtual protocol. I think we got a pretty good run setting up, guys, and I think we've just been doing our retest. We've talked about this for a month now, that things just needed to retest, cool off, and find support to make one more run. I think this is probably the last run before we enter the bear market. So we'll keep up with this as these things start to top out, figure out where it is, and get out of all of our spot bags as well. But I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. If you liked the video, go ahead and like, subscribe, leave us a comment. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and I really enjoy reading what you guys have to say. You'll also find a link to my X in the description, along with the BitUnex and the crypto school that we've talked about previously. But I'm going to wrap this up. Got a lot to do around on the ranch today. It's kind of chilly, 45 degrees in Texas, so I'm going to bundle up. I already got my hoodie on. It's my favorite time of year. Closing it out right here, Chris Hare, the world champion crypto cowboy. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you down the road.